I solemnly swear that I am up to no good.
Hey everybody, welcome to another very special edition of Tales from Godric's Hollow. This is Muggle Theories number 8. I am your host this evening. I am the Muggle of the show, Josh Brown. If this is your first Muggle Theories, welcome. Sit back, enjoy the ride. This is where I get to sit back and talk to myself for a few minutes and kind of break down a theory, some suspicions I have in my head for you guys, the listening audience, that many of you are curious about what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, and it's without Matt, so I can't bounce any reactions off of him. It's just me ranting about a specific theory or two that I may have that I want to talk about. This week's Muggle Theories episode is based on the fact that we are starting a new book. We are moving on to book 6, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. And as I've done with all the other books, I'd like to start out the book with a Muggle theory about just what I expect from the book. What random crazy predictions I'm going to make regarding what might happen in Half-Blood Prince. Some may be right, some may be wrong, apparently. But whatever it is, this is just me spitballing based on reading all the other books and kind of just coming up with an idea of where I think J.K. Rowling might take the story. So I want to start off by saying that I am pretty confident that there will not be any big deaths in this book, being that as it is book 6. I don't feel like structurally it would fit into the story to have kind of a big death. Save that for like the finale that's coming up. Like the war is upon us. I feel like that's where most of the hard to swallow things are going to take place. Book 6 might leave on like a cliffhanger type of thing where we don't know one way or the other. If somebody's alive or dead or something like that, but I just don't see like a for certain big death in this book. There might be a smaller one, and then significant character, a secondary character, one that'll still suck, but yeah, no real big ones like we had with Sirius in the last book. I also don't think that there's going to be any big surprise returns in this book from previous characters that we may have forgotten about or said goodbye to at some point or anything like that. This book feels like it's just going to act as a setup for book 7. So a returning character doesn't really make sense to me, but we'll see. We will definitely see. I do foresee the Order kind of disbanding or separating, going their different ways for their own safety. With Sirius now dead, I don't even know if they have like a headquarters now. But they know that a big war is coming, and while I think the Order needs to stay strong, I feel like they can divide and conquer more efficiently than all staying together. Just kind of playing that out there. I do see relationships happening. Like we saw relationships being a heavy storyline focus in the last book. I think that's going to ramp up even more so. The kids are getting older, we're going into 6 years. So I see more relationships happening. I would really, really, really like to see the Ron and Hermione relationship start to blossom. The books, I don't feel allude to it as much as the movies do. Seeing the two characters on screen with the films, they do have certain looks they give each other that I feel like are hinting at a possible relationship between the two. The books, it's hard to get a temperature reading from where they're at with the books, but I think the movies have been dropping hints for the last couple films. So I'd like to see that. The other relationship that's kind of in question would be Harry and somebody. I feel like Harry has to have a love interest of sorts after he's said goodbye to Cho Chang. He's going to be on the rebound. Plus, I feel like the story is more interesting with him having somebody that's not just a friend by his side. Now, who is that person going to be? It's a great question. Could it be a character we already know, a secondary, third-degree character? It's possible. They might pull somebody up from the bench and bring her to the light. This whole thing with Luna is interesting. Like, she came out of nowhere in the last book, and became a major component of the group of kids that we are growing to love here. I don't know if she's like romantically for Harry Potter. That doesn't. It would make sense in the fact that she just came from nowhere and here, but I just feel like her character is more important than just being a love interest for Harry Potter. So it could be like just one of the other girls that we know about just randomly. We do get introduced to kids for the first time still, which is weird. It would be weird at this point to just bring in somebody that we didn't know, or had only known in passing to be a love interest. So I keep racking my brain, and like, I don't think Hermione is for Harry at all. Like, I really think Ron and Hermione are a thing, or going to be a thing. So the only other person I could think of would be Ginny Weasley, which is really weird. She's only a year behind Harry. She is Ron's sister, little sister, and he's super protective. So I don't know how that would even go over, considering how jealous he is of Harry Potter all the other time. But I don't know of any other characters that we know of that I think would be relevant enough to be a love interest for Harry Potter. If they want to, bring up one of those background characters and make her more prominent for the sake of the storyline, sure, I can see that happening. But I just don't feel like that's hard-hitting enough. We're in book 6. Like, it's time to stop messing around here. Like, things have to start happening and, like, being with more importance. So, Ginny Weasley and Harry Potter, it sounds weird when I say it. It sounds weird to think it. I'm just stuck on anybody else. So, I guess by default. But, there's a chance that we just don't have a love interest for Harry Potter. He doesn't need a love interest. I think it's more interesting that he does, but we don't need it. So, we'll see. We'll see with that one. I also feel like they made a point to like mention how Harry has to be able to call his home at Privet Drive home in order to keep, that curse or that spell in place that protects him from Tom. And it feels like that was put in there to kind of set up something bigger. So I worry that Harry will in some way lose his ability to call the house on Privet Drive home any longer past this book. I don't know what that entails necessarily, but I feel like we're going to circle back to that point in the story somehow, some way. And we might as well do it in this book, Maybe that will be a cliffhanger going into book 7. Who knows? We'll see. The only couple other things I got is I think this is going to be a big, important book for our dear friend, Professor Snape. Matt has been saying since day one that Snape is his favorite character. Through book 1 through 5, I have yet to see anything that would indicate at all why Snape would be anybody's favorite character. Um, so I feel like this is going to be a big book for Snape. Mainly because I'm just dying to finally get some more substance to that character so I can try to pinpoint why Matt's favorite character is Snape. We got the little scene of Harry seeing the bullying from the Marauders that happened with Snape. I feel like we're going to probably dive into that much more. And, we don't really know what side of the fence he's on at this point still. Like, we want to believe he's with the Order and he's with the good guys, but is he? I don't know. But I feel like this is going to be a big book for Professor Snape. Half-Blood Prince, the name of this book. I feel like that's going to be a character. The Half-Blood Prince is like a nickname or an indication of somebody, of a character in the story. It's going to be important somehow, some way. How is it going to be important? I have no clue. I am not Professor Trelawney or former Professor Trelawney. I have no idea. But I feel like I can predict who the Half-Blood Prince might be. I'm really bad at remembering who is full-blood wizard and who's half-blood and all of that. I don't remember who's who in the family bloodlines, to be honest with you. But I guess it's possible that Voldy himself, Tom, could be the Half-Blood Prince. Maybe. I don't know why anybody would ever refer to him as being a prince, but I don't know. I guess it's possible. Harry. Maybe he's. I don't know how that's even possible, remotely possible. But maybe. I mean, that would make sense. The other two, though, that I have in mind, I am leaning more towards, just because I feel like we're starting to narrow down the story into like the major players. One of them being Dumbledore. I don't know Dumbledore's family heritage or lineage at all. It hasn't been told to me. Probably. Have I forgotten? Most likely. But maybe I just don't know it. So there's a chance maybe it's Dumbledore. But there's also a chance that it might be Professor Snape. And again, I don't know how important being the quote-unquote Half-Blood Prince is to anything at all. So without like even having like an inkling of what that might be, I have no idea how to like relate it to somebody else. But those are my guesses. Could it be somebody completely new? Sure, it could be. Maybe it's somebody important to like, Tom and what he's trying to go through here. Maybe it has something to do with a giant or a centaur. Who knows? But the only other thing I have to predict here is what you guys have all been waiting for, and that is who the next Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher is going to be. I am 100% confident in saying that it is not going to be a previous teacher stepping up to reclaim the title as professor. So Lupin or Moody or Fake Moody or Dumbridge or the professor that shall not be named or Quirrell. I don't think any of them are coming back to become the Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher. I have two theories, and one of which I was desperately clinging on to like the last week as I kept thinking about it. I even put it in some owl posts, I think. But I don't know how busy Dumbledore is running Hogwarts. I don't know what he does in his free time when we don't see Harry frantically trying to get a hold of him for something. But could he be the Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher? I mean, he is pretty stylish. He is really good at magic, as we've come to know. And I feel like he would make an incredible professor of that. But again, I don't know his workload. I don't know what being headmaster all entails. But I think like now would be the time for him to kind of take up the mantle and say, hey, we need to get serious about this class because there's some dark arts about to be happening here, and we need to get this under control. I was dead set on that prediction. And then I don't know what changed inside my head, but maybe it was me thinking about how this is supposed to be a big book for Snape, or I hope it's a big book for Professor Snape. I am now leaning towards thinking that finally, Professor Snape will get his wish and become the new Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher. I know, that's crazy. And I can poke holes in that theory all day long, including who's going to be the potions teacher. We have no idea who else in school is really good at potions. Madame Pomfrey, I guess, but she's too busy, healing Quidditch injuries and such. Oh, speaking of which, Quidditch is going to be back. I'm sure of it. So I don't know who else at Hogwarts is good at potions. I don't know anybody at the Ministry of Magic that's good at potions. I don't think we've met a character who is exceptional at potions that would be capable of teaching a class about potions. So that's could Snape pull double duty? Could he teach both potions and Defense Against the Dark Arts? That seems sketchy, but I guess it's possible. Maybe they'll bring in a new character to do potions. I don't know. But I think this actually might be the time when we get Professor Snape as Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher. We'll find out. I'm going to start reading the book here in a few hours. Cracking open the first few chapters of Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. Not Order of the Phoenix. Wow. I need to focus myself, center myself. Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. That's book 6. We are starting that. We'll be recording a new episode tomorrow night, Monday, October 30th. After that, you guys can listen to this episode and celebrate in me being absolutely right about a lot of things, or being completely wrong about everything. You can find me on Twitter at The Noise with a Y. You could follow Professor Matt on Twitter at As a Matter of Matt. You can follow the show on Twitter at Tales from GH. You can follow us on Instagram, Tales from Godric's Hollow. You can check out our Facebook page, facebook.com/Tales from Godric's Hollow. Everything that you will need regarding us and the show and the community can be found over at talesfromgodricshollow.com. If you have an email for us, it goes directly to Matt. I do not get to see any of the emails, so you could be as spoilery as you need be. You can send those over to talesfromgodricshollow@gmail.com. And if you'd like to support us, like so many of you amazing people have already, you can do so over on Patreon. Patreon.com/Tales from Godric's Hollow. I look forward to starting Book 6, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. I hope my Muggle Theory predictions go well. But either way, I will catch you all in the next episode, the more proper episode of the show. And until next time, Muggle out.
Mischief managed.